Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. And today we are shooting the third episode of Get Geeky with the Experts. If you haven't seen our previous two videos, you need to check them out. Just go on our channel and watch them. But hold on, right now it's not the correct time to watch them because you need to watch this video. So, who do we have today? It's Ms. Rina Barreto, the founder and CEO of Cheree Tree Concepts, and it's a marketing agency if I'm right. And she is an expert brand consultant and a brand builder. And today she will share her tips, her expertise, and some advice for all you entrepreneurs. So let's begin. Right, ma'am?
Yes.
So first thing, how are you?
Super. You made me sound like Bob the Builder by saying brand builder, but that's fine. And yes, we are a brand and business growth agency. So marketing is a small part of what we do.
So it's been around 5 years, I think, or
5 years. We started in 2019.
2019.
Yes.
I think 4 years.
2019 to 2020, 2020, whatever, count
4
it.
years. So I'm right. My math is good.
Super.
That's how did you actually start? Like, when did you think, okay, there are some maybe startups or whatever your thing or your thought process was that you need to help startups and all. When did you thought like you will start with Cheree Tree Concepts?
Shubham, have you heard of the F word? It's called failure.
Yeah.
I started with failure. It's an interesting F word, isn't it? So I started with a big mistake, something that I failed with, another business that I was doing. It was a preschool that I started when I first came down from Bombay. And there were so many things that I had to do as a first time entrepreneur, right from writing the syllabus for my preschool to meeting parents to marketing the brand to designing the posters to sitting at the Margao newspaper stand and putting leaflets. I had to do everything. And I think every entrepreneur has done it. Now, the moment you do that and you're doing everything, you realize how exhausting it is and how wrong it is for you to try and do everything, right? Of course, I failed in 2 years because I did not have the right skill sets to start a business. But that failure made me realize that I had a strength area which I was not capitalizing on. And that strength area was actually helping businesses to brand and market and make themselves more visible, right? Brand and market themselves and take them out to the target audience. So I stepped back, closed down that business.
And when was this? When did you start the first startup?
So this was, I think, in 2 years before, 2014, 15.
Okay.
Is when I started the school. And in 2 years, I shut it down. I took 1 year to recover mentally and emotionally. It was called Whiz Kids. It was in Kolva. And it was a brilliant life experience because I was interacting with children. And my concept of school and education was that children shouldn't be in classrooms. And children shouldn't be taught to say numbers and alphabets. They should be taught to be free-spirited and to express themselves. And that itself is a big learning.
So to enjoy the childhood.
Absolutely. And not be guided and disciplined into the typical learning models. So for me, I wanted to find a space where kids could run out into the garden, play outside, be outdoors, say that I don't want to be in this class, I want to go and play on the swing. So that was my concept of a school. But there were too many challenge areas that I was personally trying to handle with running a business. And yes, that business shut down. But something wonderful came out of it, which is Cheree Tree.
So then immediately you began with Cheree Tree.
Like I told you, I took 1 year to recover because it is a huge, see, the thing is, a business is like a baby. You're literally putting your heart, your mind, your emotions, your love, everything into that. And when it doesn't go well the way you wanted it and become a success, it is emotionally also very draining. So yes, I tried a few other things in between. I just maybe did odd jobs here and there, learned a few things to strengthen my brand and marketing knowledge. which I had in my previous career in Bombay. So my career in Bombay has been about branding agencies, communication agencies, and
So you
that's
are a
how.
marketing expert.
Yes, they say you
So
need.
your expertise.
You know what they say, right? Earlier they used to say you need 10,000 days to become an expert.
Yeah.
Now this modern generation, I don't know what they are thinking about, but they're saying in 100 days you can be an expert.
Yes.
So yeah, it took me
And then when you
10,000
have a
days.
book, 48 hours, and you
48
can start
hours
up.
you can have a startup.
Startup.
So then see, you guys are living in a smart age where everything is on fast forward mode. So
Yes.
I don't know how that's going for you guys.
So then maybe in 1 hour someone will come up with a startup.
How you can come up with stuff like you guys. I mean, 4 youngsters who came together because you were bored between 2 exams and said, okay, let's start a podcast called The Expertise, right? I'm sure it took you less than an hour to say that. Let me call up Abhishek and
just one WhatsApp message done. Finished.
That's how a business can start, right? You don't know where it's going to go
Yes.
from here. So
right. So in this 1 year, you are basically just learning, right?
Yes.
And in this 1 year, were you thinking like, okay, after a few months, I'm going for another startup, or you were like, okay, let's see what happens?
No, so I knew what I wanted to do, but I took that 1 year to build my confidence. And I think you also need to see there are 2 things you learn. You learn how to build your mindset so that whenever there are those challenge areas, you still are very strong, resilient to be able to handle it, right? And then the second thing you strengthen are your skill sets. So do I know enough about digital marketing? What is it that has happened in the many years since I was doing advertising, branding, and marketing? How do I upskill myself? So I was doing both those things, building my confidence, building my mindset, as well as building skill sets.
And then the launch of Cheree Tree.
Yes.
So tell me, like, what exactly does Cheree Tree does? But before that, I'll be very honest. When I first heard the name Cheree Tree, so I thought this should be something eco-friendly and environment-friendly and all that kind of stuff. But then later, when I started Googling and checking on your website and all, I started understanding it's not about what I was thinking.
Yeah. So the English word cherry picking is an English word which means that I want just the best. So I'm cherry picking the people I work with. I'm cherry picking the places that I want to visit. It means that I am very particular about what I want. So it came from there, and cherry picking. So we cherry pick the best branding, marketing, communication strategies for a client. And that's what Cheree Tree means.
And you build what you can be proud of.
Yes.
So how did you come up with this tagline?
I think that businesses should have something bigger than just your business tagline. It should have something that connects to you emotionally. So for us, we say that we want to build something to be proud of. And how do you build something to be proud of? You use your skill sets, you use your value systems, you use your communication and your rapport with people. You build all these things, and then you build a business to be proud of. So what we say is we are doing that for ourselves. We would like to do it for our clients as well. We want to help you to build a business and a brand to be proud of.
Right. So it's been like 5 years. So you all would have worked with many companies.
4
years. So this time my math was wrong. Right. So 4 years, and you have worked with many companies, right? So basically startups. So tell me, like, some mistakes the startup do when they are branding or when they are advertising.
Okay, so
something that you have come across commonly, like with most of the companies.
Yeah, a lot of them. A lot of them make the same mistakes, which is they focus on their product or their service. So let's assume that this is the product, right? And you want to sell it. Now, the first thing that someone who is buying it needs to know is what will this do different from this, right? So that communication is so important. If you're just going to focus on, if Apple had focused only on, yes, Apple is doing a brilliant job of putting the right technology so that it is very interesting to the user, right? But Apple is then going and telling the world that this is what their product is about. Now, startups need to do that. They need to, right at the beginning, communicate their value proposition. What is the value that they're getting to the audience right at the beginning? And I'll give you a few other mistakes that startups do because they do not understand, maybe they do not understand human psychology, color psychology, the way images and pictures and layouts impact us as human beings, right? Because they have their expertise areas, which is their product or their service. There was one brand we were consulting, and they were a food delivery platform, and their logo was green. Now, when you see a green logo on food, what does it mean to you? Vegetarian food, organic food, vegan food, right? But they were not delivering only vegetarian food. They were delivering every kind of food. So the first thing we said is, listen, this is what color psychology is. Most food brands use red and orange because there's a reason they use it. The human mind picks up these colors and perceives something. It already makes a perception of what the brand will be. So these are some of the mistakes that they do. They did not build their digital presence. The founders do not become the face of the brands. Personal branding is such an important part. When you start a business, people need to know the founder. Is that person trustworthy? Do I like to buy from that person?
It should be like this is his company.
Yes, and that person, even if he's an introvert, even if he's uncomfortable coming in front of the camera, there are ways to speak about and build your impact and your influence as a founder. It's important to do that.
At this point, I'll ask you another question. Probably a very familiar question to most of the startups. Probably they think about it when they are just launching. So, is product important or marketing is important?
Come on, did the egg come first or the chicken came first? It's that kind of a thing, right? I cannot market a product which is not really good, because your product is making a promise saying that when you buy this from me, I promise you that you will have a great experience, you'll have all these features, and it will save you time and it will save you money and it will be brilliant for you and your life, right? So if the product is not great, I can't market it. As a marketer, I know that I will not market a brand that I don't believe in, right? So let's assume that the product has come first and you're not marketing it. What happens is you've got a brilliant product, but your target audience doesn't even know about it, right? So I think both those things need to work hand in hand for it
Pretty much a 50-50 kind of.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Can you define branding in like one phrase?
Branding is something that looks good, talks smart, and impresses your customers.
That's wonderful.
Right?
So you need to impress the customers.
Absolutely. You need to wow your customers saying, oh, I can't not have this. I need to buy this.
I want this product.
Absolutely. अभी का अभी चाहिए वो.
अभी के अभी चाहिए. मेरे घर में होना चाहिए.
Cheree Tree को phone करके मेरा brand handle करना है. They need to handle my brand because they know how to
They know how to build a brand.
You got it.
Yes. I'm smart to understand, I think.
High five on that. Okay, now come on, next question.
Right. So, can you tell us a story or two about any of your clients that you have worked with, and probably there's a significant change in their businesses right now, like before you all came and after you all came?
Yeah, so the before after, everybody loves those before after pictures. I was this fat and then I became this
I was
thin.
120
I was
kgs,
this
now I'm
ugly.
80 kgs.
So the thing with businesses, what they need to understand, Shubham, is that it's a period of time over which you can show a massive change in the way the business profits increase, visibility increases, everything increases, right? There is traditional marketing where you put your businesses, your clients' businesses up on hoardings and radio spots and newspaper ads and magazines ads. You write about them in magazines, and that's how their customers know about them. These are very local brands that you can promote that ways. A new brand is launching in a market, you do that. And then there is a whole entire worldwide global audience or a digital audience that you need to contact. So you do the digital marketing for them.
Yes.
A combination of the two is what's going to get results. We have launched businesses here in Goa where we wrote their radio jingles, we did interviews for them, we designed their hoardings, we put them up on in newspapers and magazines, and we also went down to the supermarket level and did the sampling of the product, right? And that is how customers said that, or clients or their customers said that this is a new product, we need to have it because these are the benefits. That's how we promoted that business. There are other businesses which are totally digital. We work with a couple of global clients. One of them is an e-commerce site, and we are consulting them completely on their SEO, on their website presence, on their UI UX, right? Their user experience, their user interface. Is it sharp? Is it what is going to stand up against competition? So we do that entire analysis, saying what is competition doing? If competition is so sharp, so easy to kind of attract their customers, what do we need to do with our brand that we are promoting? So we start with that, and then we say that this is what your brand is about. We take from the values of the brand. We say that this is what is important to you. This is your mission. So this is how we will craft your website language. So we do a lot of communication. We really believe that there's no branding and there's no marketing. There is only communication. In the end, we are all, it's not possible to not communicate, right? As humans. Yeah. Even if I decide to sit quietly, I'm communicating something. I'm communicating that I don't like you. Yes. So I'm sitting silent, right? So that is how communication works with brands as well. And when we say branding and marketing, it's actually us helping to communicate your brand verbally and with visuals, right?
Since you spoke about the digital and e-commerce, telling me like, let's say like 15 years back, there was no e-commerce, right? Yeah. So it was just coming up. So maybe we can go 20 years back. So there was no e-commerce at all. Yeah. And now with brands are like full on with e-commerce, and most of the products they're online itself. Yeah. So how has the branding and how has the marketing strategies changed over the past 20 odd years?
It's amazing. When I worked with a very popular agency in Mumbai, the entire mode of communication was through television ads, through newspaper ads, and there were huge budgets that were being spent, and only the really large brands could do it the way they do it. The mom and pop stores, like in a small state in Goa, depended on word of mouth, and then maybe a little bit of
newspapers.
Yes, a little bit of newspapers, right? The entire digital marketing world has opened up the possibilities of you starting your business tomorrow, right? Of you saying that I'm going to get bored with my exams, I'm going to call up my friend, and I'm just going to start a podcast, right? Yeah. It's opened up so many possibilities for us. It's about us as a branding agency saying that I know during COVID, you were deciding to shut down your office or whatever, but we can help you to go digital. We can help you to get a global audience. You don't need people coming to your physical place. And therefore, it just opens out a whole new,
I think social media world. Has played an important role now. Nowadays, social you see media, most of the advertisements on Instagram and YouTube itself.
Yeah, it's just a way to influence our buying decisions, to influence our perception of people, to influence and waste our time.
And it's also that most of the youth nowadays are on Instagram and YouTube. So that's more eye-catching.
Yeah, it is eye-catching, but then there is also a lot of visual fatigue. You know, and therefore podcasts become an interesting way. You see the way humans are evolving, and therefore communication is evolving. We've seen a lot of video content. We love it. We are attracted towards it. And then because we are consuming too much of it, visual fatigue ho jata hai. ठीक है? Then we say that why don't we do podcasts? Because when our clients, customers are going to office in the car, they can listen to our podcast and be impressed with our brand. So these are things that we are constantly doing.
Right. Tell me like some core principles maybe which a branding agency follows, or any startup while branding or while marketing they should follow some very core principles.
Very vague question. ये इसका answer तो मैं नहीं देने वाली हूँ.
Any common with any company.
He's not bothered. He's still asking me the question. So principles that you follow is communicate your brand with clarity and with conviction. ये दोनों क्या है? What is the difference between these two? Clarity is okay. Let's talk about conviction first. You need to be really convinced that what I'm doing is of value to somebody else. What I'm doing is something that I know very well. I feel very confident with it. And then when you communicate, right, wo conviction comes out. And when the other person is listening to me, he knows, saying she knows what she's talking about. She's not BSing, right? So cut out the foul language. And then there is clarity, which means that आपको पता है कि what's in your mind, right? I know very well कि मेरा brand क्या है, but I'm not able to communicate it with clarity. I'm not able to think clearly about it, and my words are all jumbled up because my thoughts are all jumbled up, and I am not communicating with clarity. Then you lose out. So the two principles that I believe in is conviction and clarity. Be convinced about what you're selling, what you're doing, and be very clear. Learn how to.
Communication is important.
Yes, learn how to do it well. So
How to
that's it.
find a good mentor for a communication?
By speaking to me. I have made 1001 mistakes in communication. I have felt uncomfortable with myself. I've made a fool of myself. I've used the wrong language. I have been not confident. And through these 1001 mistakes, I have realized the importance of communication in my professional
so
life.
basically just learn from the mistakes.
No, don't learn from the mistakes. Save your time and learn from someone who has learned it through their mistakes.
Okay.
समझ गया?
Yes.
So learn it from someone who's made 1001 mistakes, because then you're saving a lot of your time. Because it's going to take you 1000 days to make those 1000 mistakes. Rather than that, you need to come to somebody and say, how do I? So I'll give you a small example. There's something called rapport. So you are sitting in front of me, and I know that you're very comfortable with me because your body language is very calm. If you sit like this, then I'll get uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because you are blocking yourself from me. You feel like, oh God, okay. Take it. So just open your body language. TEDx, have you heard of TEDx? TEDx speakers, there has been a research that has been done. And the more the speakers who used a lot of their hand language, right, and opened up their palms to the audience, is a show of confidence and trust. It means that, oh, I can make him trust me because I have open body language. So these are simple things that are important when we are communicating.
Right.
Yeah.
So now let's go back to the early days of startups. Probably let's say some 20-year-old, 22-year-old is thinking of launching his own startup. So I think one of the very famous questions that he comes across is, should I build a very unique product, or should I just pick up a product that is already selling well in the market and maybe just find some mistakes in that product and improve that part of it and then start selling it? So what is your opinion on that? Which side is better? Or do you really need a unique product?
So no, you don't need a unique product at all, because you can, but what you need to do is you need to say that everybody seems to be having this problem or this challenge or this need. How can I deliver it better than somebody else? So if somebody requires this glass of water and you say that, oh, he's making a lot of money selling this glass of water, how can I also sell it? By getting in this glass of water and say that I will add some vitamins and proteins and whatever into it, not proteins, and I'll make it more interesting, and maybe I'll find a better way to source it so I can sell it for cheaper, or I'll make it more expensive because I'll spend a lot of money on marketing and promoting it or packaging it, or I'll promote it only to a particular audience, maybe mothers of newborn babies who need to have very clean water, something like that, right? You just find your niche. You just find a target audience that you say that I will deliver it only to this audience, and this is what that audience doesn't like about this water, or they will love about this water.
Yes.
Right? I hope you got my
So now this
answer.
water example reminds me of one of the startups, Beyond Water. Have you heard?
No.
It came in Shark Tank. I'm not very sure.
So what do they do?
I don't exactly know what is that.
Yeah.
But they were basically trying to try some flavored waters and all, not normal water, something that people want to drink more.
Right.
But it's water, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. My son goes and buys this bottle, which is apple water or something like that, and it looks like water, and it cost me $50.
Yes.
And I'm like, and he loves it. Why do I need to spend 50 bucks on it, right? But they have branded themselves,
Yes.
they've put that little bit of flavor, and that child is attracted towards
Tastes
it.
better, it
Yeah,
looks better, so he goes
yeah,
there.
and he feels cool.
Yes.
Yeah, so well, that's how it works. That's how communication works.
Right. So, when someone is launching their startup, there are like couple of options. I would say they can visit an incubation center and get incubated, or they can choose to be their own life. I
Yes,
guess.
yes.
So, can you tell me like, should they like who should go to the incubation center? Who should not go to the incubation centers? And how the incubation centers help you and all?
Yeah, so I really believe that it's always important to get help from the right people, from
Hmm.
the experts. An incubation center guides you with money and funding, it guides you with experts,
Yeah.
it guides you with place to start up so that you can actually have an office set up with very little money rather
Hmm.
than try and spend a lot of them are bootstrapped, right? They're using their own money. You need to do
Yes.
it in the least possible cost. Too many startups fail because they've burnt up their money at the beginning, right? So
Hmm.
if you're smart, you would go to an incubation center and get the right kind of help, and these people will guide you on things like um, how do you test your product, how do you launch your product in the market, how do you research your customer audience, um, how do you market and brand and build your product,
Prototypes and all.
everything, as well as get you the funding avenues, right?
Yeah.
They are the ones who actually are the backbone for it. So
Hmm.
incubation centers are super important. There's Fire in Fatorda, which is
Yes.
doing such a brilliant job of incubating startups. And then, of course, we
Hmm.
have the startup promotion cell of Goa.
We have AIC as well.
AICGIM is there. There is SIBA. So no,
Yes.
SIBA is more like a co-working spaces. So co-working spaces again
Co-working spaces, even I think
are
Build 3 or
useful.
something.
Yeah. So there is 91, a whole lot of
There are
them.
many here.
But the point is, you don't need to take up a separate office and figure out the internet and who's going to bring the chai and who's going to swap the flows, right?
Hmm.
All that is happening. You can just focus on building your business rather than managing an office and building your business. So those are the useful bits that you can do.
And what about investments? When to raise investments?
When you know that your product is has got a market, when you can convince an intelligent set of people that, and I mean VCs and funders and everything, that your business has got a future and will be able to scale up and will be able to have a bigger market, that's when you should seek investments,
Yes.
right?
Okay. So let's say I'm starting a product-based company, so it should be will be my own product. So initially, let's say a couple of years go in designing and manufacturing that product, right?
Yeah,
Getting the prototypes ready and
yeah.
all. So in this first couple of years, when you're still just developing the product, how does a startup actually survive? Because
By
there is no income coming, no
this,
revenue. Yeah.
yes, and that's the reason every student, every youngster, or even somebody who is in their 40s but wants to start a business, right? They should go to an incubation center because the government actually funds these things, saying that you need to develop a product, you
Hmm.
need to go to market, you need prototype. Fire has got prototyping labs,
Yes.
right? So that's where you save money, save time, save energy, by going to an incubation center, taking the schemes that the government has made available, taking the help of mentors who are supposed to guide you on these things.
Hmm.
It's a brilliant ecosystem over the last 1 decade that has come up, just so that youngsters and everyone who's got an entrepreneurial dream can make that dream a reality without burning up money, right? So you should use it.
Right. And one more, just a question that is linked to it. Um, like prototypes and all are there, right? There is one phase, second
Yeah,
phase maybe.
yeah.
And should a startup patent their prototypes? I mean the products
I'm not an expert to speak about that.
patent.
No, not really. But again, see, these things are
But
something
patents
that
help in branding.
uh, patenting helps in protecting whatever you have designed, developed. Um, I don't think it really is a huge branding situation. Yes, you can use the content and that patenting or whatever it is because of the particular qualities or the value that that patenting has got into your marketing messaging, right? But not really in terms of branding. There's a difference between branding and marketing, by the way.
Okay. Can you explain this difference?
So branding is when you are showcasing your brand. Branding is what you do to put yourself out there, right? So let's assume that you want to impress a girl. You will use perfume, you'll wear some smart clothes, you'll have this big smile on your face, and then you will come and meet her at the door and she'll be impressed. That's branding, right?
Yeah.
Marketing is when you open your mouth and you want to tell her where you're going to take her and why she's going to feel brilliant and how's the evening going to go, and she's all excited. That's marketing, right? She says, oh, I'd love to go out and go to this restaurant, have a wonderful meal. So you're actually telling her of an experience that she can have by going on a date with you. So that's marketing. Simple.
Very simple. I think people need experts like you to mentor them.
Concepts, simple.
Simple concepts.
I just hope other branding and marketing guys don't shoot me for coming up with this definition, okay? I don't care actually.
But people need such.
I want to be technically right. That's
people
it.
need such branding consultants.
Super.
Who can make concepts very simple.
Simple to understand. That's the clarity, right?
Clarity.
Yeah.
Right. So now I think enough of startups, enough of entrepreneurship, enough of branding. Let's go back. Let's go to your school days.
Oh,
how were your school days?
Okay.
And yeah, to school days to college days. What did you do in your school days? Like in school only you thought of business and stuff?
I was a geek. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm borrowing from your brand name, but literally I was one of those students who studied like a maniac because I felt like I couldn't have a life if I didn't study brilliantly well and get brilliant marks. So I spent many hours studying, coming first in class, taking part in competitions, whether it was drawing competition or elocution competition. Then by the time I reached college, I said, oh my God, this is so exhausting. So I went to Dempi College and I sat on the beach. We used to play cards on the beach. We used to go out on dates. And we used to chill out. Okay? We used to bunk classes. I'm glad that they don't allow you guys to do it anymore because I've got 2 sons that I'm raising and I don't want them to be bunking and going on dates, right?
People bunk in our college.
So they do?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't, but you still have that attendance that you need to.
75%.
हाँ, तो हमको वो भी
It
नहीं था.
happens for some reason. Somehow we come up with 75%.
Because they're like, super, yeah. Then you guys are innovative.
50. I hope my college teachers are not watching this. But you need somewhere around 50 and then somehow they will bring you to 75.
I'm not even part of this conversation. I'm just going to pretend I've not heard that, okay? So I'm not going to encourage it at all. I told you I've got 2 sons, I'm growing up. So anyways, and college was actually about friends, about connecting with people. I went to a girls' school when I was in school. So then suddenly it was boys and girls together and they were a whole new species and they had interesting conversations and they acted and reacted differently. So it was a whole new world, right? And so I was part of that world of just understanding how to interact with all these different people. And I did no competitions, I did no studies, I did nothing much. And then one time it chilled, yeah. But luckily for me, I think fate intervened. My parents' prayers also must have worked a little bit. In my second year, when I was in my second year, I was doing my master's. No, I was doing my BA in economics. And we had a teacher who came from Bombay. And he was seconded here. Seconded as in he was here for a year. And I was good at my studies in the second year. And he said, why don't you come to Mumbai and finish your graduation there? And I think that changed my whole life.
So your first year was in Goa?
My first and second year was in Goa. I completed my third year of economics in St. Xavier's College, one of the most prestigious colleges. It changed the entire course of my life because then I wanted to work in Bombay. I did not come back. I started working in Bombay I realized that it's a bigger world, a richer world, a harder world, but more opportunities, and I loved it. So I decided to then start my career in Bombay.
But then you now love Goa.
Yeah. So, like they say, you need to know
Sushegad
both.
Goikar.
Susegad, no.
Not
Nah,
Sushegad.
Susegad, sometimes. So I balance it. But as an entrepreneur, there is, you have a lot of freedom. You work till 10, 11 sometimes. And then other days you wake up, you go to the beach, you chill out till afternoon. And then you say, okay, by 4 o'clock, we'll go to work.
So bring
right?
that balance in your work.
Yes. So there's Susegad and stressed out balance,
Both of
right?
them.
Yeah. And I love it. I love that freedom.
Yeah. Just, okay. So we had one reel on our Instagram, and that reel was like basically engineers discussing about exams, and
Okay.
we were like pass ho gaya to bas.
Correct.
Okay, and we posted it on Instagram, and there were some comments, and some of them were like, you should run behind excellence, not run, but go for
Yeah.
excellence,
Yeah.
get those 9 CGPAs and all, rather than
Yes.
just passing. So and similarly, like you said, in your school days, you were like that, like
Yeah.
excellence,
Yeah.
and then you started chilling.
Yeah.
So going behind excellence is good, or like
I am obsessed with doing things right. I am obsessed with perfection. I'm obsessed with impressing my clients. I'm obsessed with being better than my competition in what I do. I don't know whether you call that excellence, or you just call it some kind of madness and a personality type, right? So that chilling out period, right? And I still have it in my business, the way I run my business. That chilling out period was about me saying that this got a little too much, the way I was structuring myself. And there was another part of me which wanted to be this, and I wanted to express both. So at that teenage years, I was able to express that. And then, of course, you become mature and you realize what you want as a business, as a parent, as a wife, as a person in the community. You want a certain thing, right? So you do try and be as good as you are in what you do. But then there are other bits of you where you also want the world to see that there is a fun part, there is a not so serious part. And I think it's important to showcase ourselves as real people rather than just presenting that pursuit of excellence.
Yes. Right. So now let's go back to your college and post-college. So after it was BA Economics.
Yeah, I did
from
my
St.
BA
Xavier's.
and then I did my master's.
MA Economics.
Masters in economics,
We
yeah.
had this subject economics just for one semester.
Okay.
All I remember from that is supply versus demand.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
Rest all things I
Absolutely.
forgot now.
I learned the law of diminishing marginal utility.
Yeah.
The more
Something
you
of
have
that sort we
something,
have.
the less you appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay, I've applied that in life very well.
Pretty much we had that only based on supply versus demand and little bit of marketing strategy, I believe.
Correct.
And a few numericals on that only, supply and demand. But yeah, basically the subject was focused on this one only.
Yes.
Supply, demand, and
Yes.
sales.
And how to balance it.
How to balance it.
Correct.
And sales.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then after your MA Economics, it was a job.
Yes. So I started applying for jobs in Bombay. I did not see myself coming back to Goa because there was not much happening. Or rather, the world of advertising, branding, marketing was not so big in Goa.
Pretty much in Mumbai.
Yes. So I started out with a small agency and moved to Madison Communications, a much larger agency. Then moved to Lowe Lintas, a much bigger agency. So I worked with some brilliant agencies. I don't know, sometimes I feel I just got lucky, right? I just got lucky because there are so many brilliant people who do really good work. And then I moved on to one of our clients. I was handling a client. They were a bank. So it's a whole new different.
HSBC.
Yes.
I saw it on LinkedIn.
Yes. So it was a very different industry. And I felt like a fish out of water first because they were all bankers and they knew their numbers very well. And I didn't know what 1 + 1 was. So but I think I managed pretty well.
And during your career, did you meet any celebrities and all?
I did. Well, I don't want to name them.
Aw.
My work at HSBC did kind of uh, put me in touch with a few, what do you call, celebrities,
Celebrities.
because we got them as motivational speakers. We got them as um, people who could conduct events for us. So yeah.
Now even you have given the speeches.
Yeah, I have learned how to be comfortable with myself. I've learned how it's okay to go up on stage and not.
You have delivered a lot of talks, I guess.
I have, yes.
And because of that, maybe you are a mentor at GCCI, or through
Yes, I
GCCI
am
are
going
you
to be.
doing that?
It's not yet launched. 2nd September is when they're going to actually introduce the mentors. I'm also working with the Youth Enterprise Program, which has been launched by the Livelihood Forum of Goa.
Okay.
So mentoring the youth there on branding and marketing. So yes, I do some of that work.
And you also shoot videos on YouTube.
I shoot videos because I think that it's a part of personal branding. So when you're interviewing an
I think you like
entrepreneur-
talking.
I love talking.
Yes. That's the one thing I could find.
Yes, I
Conclude
know.
from this podcast.
Yeah, so please clip my speech here, okay? Just don't make me sound like I talk too much. They'll say, "Oh my
We'll
God,
keep
how
this
did
on
we-"
purpose. No?
Yeah. So,
Yeah, right. So, just before we conclude, anything that you want to tell or you want to express to all those women entrepreneurs or just any youth, anything that you want to tell?
like, यानी ज्ञान देना है.
Yeah, just anything.
So I really don't have any right to give gyan, because I think each of us have got a different way to look at things, Shubham. And what I say really is my journey and my personality. But what I've learned is that fear is something that you need to learn to make friends with. So that discomfort, fear, limiting beliefs that we have, we need to say that it's fine. It's fine to feel the fear. I'll just kind of carry it with me and it'll sit here. Otherwise, what happens is, oh, I am so frightened, let me just stay out of the room. I will not enter that room, or I will not walk up on stage, or I will not start that business. Say that, it's there, but I can still live with it. I can still give that speech. I can still start that business. That's the only thing that I can say. If I have gone through it, I think everybody else can also learn to do it.
Yes. So thank you. Thank
Cheers.
you so much.
Yes.
And thank you for
High 10. High five to ho gaya to high 10.
Yes. Thank you so much for being a
Most
guest,
welcome.
the
Thank
third
you.
one.
Yes,
And
thank you.
hope to see many more in the future. And
Yes.
once again, let's see if we can interact one day.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
The Expert Geeks guys, they're brilliant. A team of youngsters who are doing something very interesting. I love their confidence. I love the fact that they have initiated this, and I wish them all the best.
Thank you so
Cheers.
much. And subscribe to our channel, guys, and follow us on Instagram.